Well, good morning, YouTube. As you can see, we are back home. Yeah, I know I took a couple days off from making any videos. Still a little congested, not feeling so great. So I decided to just not record the last couple days. Really just kind of sat around the house, got caught up on YouTube videos that I was behind on. And like I said, I can only do that for a day or two, and I got work to do. I got things to do. Well, as you guys know, the creek here is my happy place. And as you can see, it's November. A lot of the foliage is thinned out. What foliage is still there? Still some pretty colors. Still got some yellows and some reds and so on and so forth. The temperature is actually really nice. You know, I know I'm wearing a grubby shirt because I'm going to do some work on the truck here in a minute. But I even put my Under Armour on because the phone says it's 56 degrees out here, but it definitely doesn't feel like it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we broke the 5,000 subscriber mark, and actually broke it pretty good. You know, when I edited the last video that I posted, the day that we drove home from Louisiana, when I went to bed that night, we needed 4 more subscribers to hit 5,000. I didn't check it the next day, and then yesterday, also we're at like 5,300. So it's kind of amazing how sometimes you can wait so long for just a few subscriber counts to go up, and then out of nowhere, bam, they jump up again. You know, on another note, speaking of subscriber counts, one of the channels that I really enjoy watching is called Trucking Together, and they just hit their 5,000 subscriber mark like a week and a half ago. So I'm really, really proud of them. And I want to give them a congratulations. I don't know if they actually watch my channel or not very often, but either way, I'm proud of what they've done. You know, for me, it's been about almost a year. 2 more weeks will make a year. It was Thanksgiving weekend last year when I launched my channel, and we just hit 5,000. Trucking Together started, I think, literally back in like July or August, somewhere in that area. Don't quote me on that. I know I started watching them when we were out in the Sturgis area doing the rally there. So for them to get to that point that fast is actually quite impressive. All right, guys, so the motorcycle rally season has ended. So those of you that are here solely for motorcycle content, I do apologize. There's not going to be a lot of that over the next couple of months. There definitely won't be any rallies. You might see a couple of rides still, or me working on projects in the shop, but no rallies, not until Daytona Beach in the spring, come the first week of March. However, there is a lot of projects that need to be done here at home. And I might even get into doing some trucking here in a little bit. Currently, the truck, the Freightliner that Talon's been running, is actually out at the Freightliner dealership down in Atlanta, getting some work done to it. So it's going to be at least a couple of weeks, they say, till we get that back. So probably won't be till after Thanksgiving. Now, I know some of you have been wondering what's been going on with Talon and Alyssa out there on the road, and unfortunately, they just haven't given me a lot of footage to put out there for you. I know this last trip was really stressful for them. The truck gave them a number of problems along the way. They had a couple of customers that were very difficult. They had a couple that were great as well. But I know they did a delivery out in Arizona, and the lady there was very, very difficult to deal with. Very underappreciative of what the crew was doing for her. So that adds a lot of stress to what we do. I think Talon finally sent me some footage from a job that we finished up back in August after we got back from Sturgis, and after Katie and I went and picked up the trailer from Indianapolis. So maybe I'll put some of that together if it all works out and get you a little short video for that job anyways. However, as far as the projects go, I think I've got to put my priority into the Kenworth. Yeah, Project Kenworth needs a lot of work. You know, we bought that truck back in January now, so it's hard to believe it's been almost a year since we actually purchased that truck. Maybe it was February, don't quote me on that. Either way, it's been a long time, and I really thought I'd have that truck on the road and running by now, and that hasn't happened. So now that I've got a few months that I don't have to be at a rally, and I got to really focus on getting that truck on the road. So it's going to need the rear ends done. I need to go through all the brakes, go through all the air system, do a complete fluid change on it. We've got to paint the truck because it is just terrible looking. Get the interior put back in it, and then hopefully we can put that truck to work. So if you were interested in seeing the project of that partial restoration of that Kenworth T600 with the Cat 3406E motor in it, 15 speed, you might enjoy that. But either way, it's got to get done, so I hope you guys enjoy that one. There's also a lot of work that needs to be done on Goliath before the next season starts. Some of you probably remember back to us having the trouble with the third stage of the Jake brake not working. And technically, it's the first stage of the Jake brake that's not working. Stages 2 and 3 are working just fine. I've got to fix that, but I hate to say it, it may not take priority. I'm not positive that I mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned on our way out to Texas, where we were staying in Louisiana at the Palace, which was far from the Palace, as you guys saw, discovered an air leak in the brake system on Goliath. One of the Bendix brake relay valves is starting to leak. It's kind of gummed up. I was told I could probably take it apart and clean it, and it would all be good. But the fact of the matter is, the truck is a 1987. There's a good chance that relay should just be replaced with a new one. And of course, you know, there's 3 of those brake relays in the entire truck. There is a lot of oil in the air system on that truck, which is a sign of the air compressor going bad. So I may just have to go through and redo the entire air side of the brake system and get that in shape. And I hate to say it, but I have to prioritize that over the Jake brake because, you know, the truck's functional without the third Jake brake. I've been running it for years that way, but it got to have good brakes. Actual service brakes, you know, that's a safety thing. Got to have that done. There's also a lot of other small projects with Goliath that I'm not going to list off right here, but there's a lot of little things that really need to be done on it. Some of them aren't super important, but things I just like to get done. So there'll be hopefully a bunch of videos on that as well. And then we've got Project Excursion. Project X, as I've got it called on the playlist, I believe. If you guys recall, I did a video a little while back, I think it was just before we went to Sturgis, about putting the new brake lines on it because I had brakes hanging up. And at first I was really happy with it, but I went to go take it for a ride shortly after that, and I still had a brake that didn't want to release properly. And I got like a mile from the house and it was super hot, and I just turned around and brought it back. So I have ordered completely new brake rotors for it, and I went with a high performance aftermarket drilled and grooved rotor to give better braking performance. So I'm going to get some new calipers for it as well, and then that way we'll have new lines, new calipers, new pads, new rotors, the whole 9 yards, and it should really make a difference in the way that truck stops. All right, guys, and let's not forget about Project Sport Coach. You saw that little 4-minute video I put out about the motorhome that Talon and I decided to buy while we were out in South Dakota. Well, that motorhome is still sitting in South Dakota, and I'm thinking, I doubt we'll go do it before Thanksgiving. Maybe we will, I don't know. Gotta look what our schedule's like. It might be a good idea to do it now while the Freightliner's in the shop, because that way we're not losing any additional money by parking that truck to go get it. But nevertheless, we need to make a trip out there to get it. And that, we're gonna do that roadkill style. I think that'll make a really interesting trip to just, probably Talon and I are gonna fly out to Rapid City, I'll end up going to the local hardware store and buying, you know, a small tool kit so that I don't have to worry about trying to carry stuff on the plane with me. And we're basically gonna do a quick once over on that, maybe change the oil and whatnot while we're there. And then we're gonna throw the thing on the highway and try to drive it all the way home and hope that it makes it. All right, guys, but today, I think I gotta work on Project Dually. I had put new brake pads on the dually on the rear just before we went to Ocean City, I believe. Or maybe it was after I got back from Ocean City. I honestly don't remember. Just because they were getting worn down and the wear indicators were starting to squeal a little bit. Rotors were in really good shape, so I just pad slapped it. However, I did have trouble getting one of the calipers to push back in. But a lot of times when you do that, you can, you'll free it up and then it'll work just fine. But apparently it's not. I noticed a couple times I drove it. You can kind of smell the brake from that left rear. So we're going to take that apart and see if we can't maybe rebuild that caliper. In fact, Talon drove it the other day while we were still over in Texas. And he called me and said, "Hey, Dad, there's something wrong with this." So I told him to just park it and I'd fix it when I got home. So like I said, I'm going to take the caliper off. I'm going to disassemble it, try to clean it all up and rebuild it. There's not much to a brake caliper. You've basically got the housing, and there's no damage to the housing. You've got the pistons, and I believe in this case, don't quote me, but I believe in this case, it's a twin piston caliper. So you've got to pop those pistons out of there, and then there's just a couple of O-rings that seal the fluid to each piston and a dust cap. So in many cases, you can just disassemble them, clean them all up, relubricate everything with some clean brake fluid, put it all back together, and whatever was causing it to not operate properly, you'll get cleaned out of there. So we're going to try that first because it's cheaper than having to go buy another caliper. And a worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, then I still got to go buy another caliper. So we're going to try that first. Chances are I will not record any of that today because I've been talking so much that this video is probably already getting longer than it needs to be. But before I can start that project, both of my kids have warned me that my shop is a mess. I guess they've been loading stuff in there. So I got to go see how bad it is for me to even start working on anything. I hope I have access to what I need access to, or I got room to work, but we're going to go find out. Well, yeah, it's definitely a bit of a mess in here, so I'll probably have to spend about an hour cleaning it up first. So you got the kids' toys in here. I got a couple motorcycles. Oh, and there's Baby D. He's one of our other puppies. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? He's always happy when we come home. Yeah, he's just a big goof. I don't know how he can just roll around on the rocks like that. It kills my feet if I'm out here without shoes, and he'll just grind himself into them. Guess it feels good to him. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to end this video right here. So if any of that stuff sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. I'm sure there'll be some other things I didn't mention in there as well. But once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for the support. I think it's awesome that we've reached that 5,000 subscriber mark. We're still a long ways from that 10. But we're going to stay true. We're going to stay hard and get that love jugs given away once we get there. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. And until the next time I see you, keep those engines running. What are you doing, Baby D?